He's done a real good job of handling Nationals pitchers. First pitch of the ball game from Cabrera to Skip Schumacher right in there. At 7:06, cloudy skies all day, 62 degrees here. And a bit of a breeze blowing out toward left field. Schumacher is a converted outfielder, good speed. He had his career year last year when he played 153 games and hit .302. Zimmerman's going to have to hurry. Bare hand play. Perfect. As Nick Johnson just steps over into foul ground. And the key to that thing was, even batting left-handed, it took Schumacher forever to get out of the batter's box.
Yeah, he didn't know if it was fair or foul, and that gave the little bit of a step to Ryan Zimmerman. It was off the end of the bat, what we call a pool cue shot right there, but that helps when you get ahead, though. Cabrera got ahead, then he got that little dribbler, and Ryan Zimmerman's D got us sent out there.
Next up, the 22-year-old outfielder, Colby Rasmus, off to a .259 start. He's a rookie who hit .251 at AAA a year ago. St. Louis has a young flavor to this ball club, surrounding some of their veterans. Troy Gloss, of course, is still out. But this is an organization that for years has produced good talent out of its farm system, and Rasmus, one of the latest to make it to the major leagues. He's 0 for 7, and you would think he would see good pitches to hit, batting in front of that guy who's number 3 in the on-deck circle, Albert Pujols. Cabrera goes 3-0, and there's the career of Daniel Cabrera right there.
In a nutshell.
You get the leadoff guy with speed, and then right in front of them, one of the most dangerous hitters, if not the best hitter in all of baseball, you walk a number 2 man on 4 pitches. Jim Reynolds has the plate. The crew chief, Tim Welke, at first. Angel Hernandez at second base, and another Welke, and that's Bill over at third.
And I don't know if he's thinking Albert Pujols is on deck. You know, but you got a guy who's not really hitting that well. You just start off the first hitter with 2 strikes, and then you just throw 4 balls that aren't even close to the strike zone.
Albert Pujols is a lot like Ryan Zimmerman in one respect. He's a number 3 hitter who hits the ball hard a lot, and that'll often result in double play balls. That ball is behind him. Hits off the backstop, and no double play now.
I don't know if that's intentional for the people watching at home.
What in the world?
It just seems like he is trying to uncork the fastball, and he lets it get away from him, doesn't follow through and finish it. Runner moves up to second.
And he's in scoring position now after a walk and a wild pitch for the leading RBI man in all of baseball. Pujols has driven in 26. First base side of the rubber, Cabrera. He jams Pujols, and that's fouled straight back. Albert's hitting .329. His on-base average of .450 is 7th in the league. And this is a typical start for him, Rob. He has walked 2.5 times more than he has struck out. Here's something for you. Coming into this season, Albert Pujols in his career, 696 walks, 506 strikeouts in 8 years. Target is up and in. And that ball gets away from Flores. And the Nationals have just given the Cardinals 3 bases here. A second wild pitch in the inning.
Here's the ball with our Exmo. You see it hit the leather of Jesus Flores, but it's thrown so hard to the side he can't stop it from going to the backstop, and Rasmus goes over to third base. But Daniel Cabrera continues to just throw, Bob, and you have to pitch at this level and just be able to locate and hit some spots, especially against this guy. He's so dangerous.
He's thrown 9 balls already of his 13 pitches, and that's 3-1 on Albert Pujols on a breaking ball low and away. Cabrera's last outing truly puzzling. 2 1/3 innings at New York on 86 pitches. Half of them
Well, that was that game where Elijah Dukes misplayed that one ball, and we gave them 3 runs early. But then after that, the wheels fell off.
Pujols jacks one to left center. That ball's got some backspin, and it's out of here. That's why you can't walk anybody in front of Albert Pujols, and St. Louis jumps on top with 2. And the other thing that's tough about this situation, Rob, Ryan Ludwig is not hitting behind Albert Pujols tonight.
And there's no thought process either. He throws one behind, jams him, one in the dirt. Throws just a bad breaking ball in the dirt, and then he just throws one over the meat of the plate. But here's the thing in my mind. He's not pitching, he's throwing. Albert Pujols is standing there, and he's waiting for the one pitch he does throw for a strike. And he's all over it. I mean, there's no fear by the batters because Cabrera is more afraid of himself than the hitters are of him. They just know he's trying to throw strikes, and he has so little command of his pitches that it's a done deal with the guys at the plate. They don't have to worry about him if he does throw behind you or brush you off. Okay, that's just a missed throw by him. But it's like a guy at the carnival that's trying to hit the milk bottles. I mean, it's not pitching at the major league level. I mean, we root for the kid. We want him to do well. But, you know, in the end, is he actually contributing to the Nationals, or are we just going to keep going with the experiment to the expense that every 5th day you're pretty much going to be in a jam almost every inning with this guy?
2 balls and 2 strikes to Chris Duncan, hitting .299. And a breaking ball misses low and inside.
And I've already told you what I think of that breaking ball. He never locates with that breaking ball. Maybe once every 10 times. I mean, I don't know why you would allow him to continue to throw it. It's not a pitch that he can throw for strikes.
Man, tough to watch.
It is, because he's a nice young man. He's a good kid, but it's something is so locked in his head that stops him from just letting it go, letting it happen, and throwing some strikes and having some fun.
Cabrera on the season now in 18 2/3 innings, 14 walks, 7 strikeouts. And he's given up. That was only the 2nd home run he's given up. He's done a fairly decent job of keeping the ball in the park. But I am lax to remember many 1, 2, 3 innings when he hasn't been under some sort of stress.
But to pitch at this level, you can't battle yourself more than the hitters. And that's I can almost feel the tension coming from the mound. You know, and I don't think the hitters are really intimidated at all by any of his pitches.
Yeah, and at this size, 6'9", 260, guys should be afraid to step in against.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Here's Rick Ankiel, who's one of the great turnaround stories in all of baseball in recent years. Became an outfielder in 2005 after his days as a pitcher. And he hits one out to right center. That ball's got some carry on it. Elijah Dukes catches it 390 feet away for the 2nd out. That'll bring up Joe Thurston, a 9-year minor leaguer who had only played in 59 ball games in the big leagues since being drafted by the Dodgers back in '99. We mentioned the Troy Gloss injury. He's been on the DL the entire time so far for the Cardinals. May not be back for another month or so. But Thurston hitting at 300. There are certain ball clubs, I think the Braves are like that. St. Louis is one of those clubs where some guys who've been role players in their careers, they go to a certain ball club and something elevates their game. 29-year-old infielder. And a little squirter out to short. Guzman picks it up and throws on the run. And a good play. So 2 walks around the Albert Pujols home run. Albert goes deep for the 8th time this year. There's a classic home run swing. Pujols homer, lead it 2-0. And the Nats are hitting well, 270, 4th in the league. The Southwest.com lineup for Washington and Austin Kearns. The 240 batting average may not impress you, but how about the 397 on base average, because he's been on base every game he has started. 13 walks, 11 RBIs, and we'll have much, much more. Debbie Taylor will help us out as we cover the bases with Austin Kearns tonight. St. Louis starting 25-year-old Mitchell Boggs. 10 major league games, 7 major league starts. He's 1-0 with a good ERA for the Cardinals so far. And the thing about St. Louis is starting pitching. They've taken a bunch of pitchers with Chris Carpenter injured and really pitched well. They have the best team ERA in the National League, behind the Pirates by just 0.2 of a point. 3.63. Pittsburgh's at 3.41. Doing it with guys like Kyle Loesch, Joel Pinheiro, Todd Wellemeyer, who throws tomorrow, and now Mitchell Boggs. Christian Guzman offers at that off-speed breaking ball.
Well, and the big guy you forgot, Adam Wainwright.
Well, they knew what they were getting there.
Filling in admirably for Chris Carpenter, who's still out injured. Maybe out another 6 weeks.
Wainwright 3-0. Pinheiro 4-0. Loesch is unbeaten 3-0. 1-2 to Guzman. A swing and a miss on a diving breaking ball in on him. First time the Nats have seen this pitcher.
Let's give you the PNC scouting report on the big guy. He's not quite as big as Cabrera, but he is 6'4", 220. He's got that famous Hall of Fame last name, Wade Boggs, if you forget. Mitchell Boggs, and he's got a big career ERA that, with his good one this year, has been lowered down into the 6s.
He throws a fastball in there to Nick Johnson. Nick batting at .333 with an on-base average of .407. Everything's around the plate now. Firestone, a tradition of innovation, and guys hitting well at home, led by the Dodgers' Orlando Hudson. We all know about Raul Ibanez. Adam LaRoche, one of the best swings in the league, and there's Nick right behind Albert Pujols. One ball and 2 strikes to Nick, who's hit safely in 12 of his 13 games. Mitchell Boggs from Dalton, Georgia. Cardinals took him in the 5th round of the draft 4 years ago. 170th overall player taken.
Well, in 42 career innings in the major leagues, he's given up 29 earned runs. And with that 1.17, lowered his career ERA to 6.26.
He must be feeding off some of those other guys as well as their pitching right now. And a 2-2 to Nick. Fastball fading away from him, hit beautifully to left field. We've noticed Nick Johnson going the other way more lately, and that was a classic swing. Ryan Zimmerman saved the ball game for the Nats last night with a play on Chris Coast with the bases loaded in the 4th inning.
Well, playing defense is one thing, but playing it and being clutch. Bases juiced right here. This would have been a sure double. Gets up, throws a one-hop strike to Nick Johnson. Gets Scott Olsen and the Nationals out of a huge jam in Philly.
Yes, it did.
It was big.
Ryan Zimmerman steps in, hitting .291. Continued his hitting streak last night with a double out to left center that got the Nats started on a 2-run rally in the 6th, and that was the decisive inning with the bats last night. Breaking ball, right center. How far is this ball carrying? It's heading for the scoreboard, and it is an opposite field home run to tie the game. Pujols for the Cardinals, Zimmerman for the Nationals, and the number 3 guys getting the job done so far. And how about that for a 19-game streak?
How about this, Bob? Exmo on the hanging curveball opposite way. Great approach by Ryan Zimmerman. He got a 92-mile-an-hour fastball that he got behind. Then he gets a hanging breaking ball, takes it the other way, and ties the game at 2.
Nationals hit their 23rd homer of the year. And that's the first one given up by Mitchell Boggs, as mentioned.
And 31 earned runs in 42 innings now at the major league level.
Hitting streak approaching 20 games for Zimmerman, a Nationals record. Adam Dunn is next, and Boggs better be careful here. He's fallen behind 2-0. Well, you know, Ryan Zimmerman used to get hits in bunches. Now he's getting home runs in bunches.
Well, and you can thank that big man standing down there, number 44.
You're right.
Nobody wants to get to him, just like, well, you wouldn't want to get to Albert Pujols, but he's made almost everybody around him better.
2-0 to Adam Dunn, and he was pumping.
I mean, look at Ludwig. He got, you know, made the All-Star team last year. Ankiel got back to the big leagues, and now his game has been raised up a level.
Two and 1 to Adam Dunn. He's hit 6 homers. That was Zimmerman's 5th. And this one will be out of play down to the left side. More power waiting. This is a lineup that'll put some pressure on opposing pitchers. That's going to get Adam Dunn looking. Don't see him take a fastball for a 3rd strike very often. Must have been guessing. And that's 2 outs with Dukes coming up.
No, this is a good sinking fastball right here. Sinks down and away from him. I don't think he thought that was a strike. It's a little low to a guy that's 6'6". But I guess that knees to the letters isn't the strike zone anymore.
Here's Elijah Dukes, is 5 for his last 16 with a homer and 5 RBIs. And he steps in hitting .292. The Nationals have 6 batters in the lineup tonight hitting .290 or better. St. Louis defensively, Rick Ankiel in center field, the former pitcher. Chris Duncan in left, Colby Rasmus in right field. Khalil Green is on the bench tonight. That is Tyler Green making his major league debut. at short for the Cards. And Yadier Molina's not in the game either tonight. It's Jason LaRue, the former Cincinnati Red, who's been a very capable backup for them. 2 balls and a strike to Elijah.
I thought that was Tallulah Green out at shortstop. I'll have to check my. No, I'm kidding.
Hey, another one of their, you know.
No, they've got another Green.
When the Cardinals.
What did Tony La Russa tell you about their defense, though?
He told me that the 21 errors is very deceptive because 9 of them are Green and Pujols. Everybody knows Khalil Green is a very good defensive infielder, so that's a bit of an aberration. And he told me the 4 errors on Pujols are because Albert has been so aggressive going after balls between first and second. He's had a few miscues. So when La Russa talks about defense and little things that maybe we don't notice just because of numbers, as a baseball guy, you got to be listening.
Could that Albert statistic be because you have a converted outfielder in Schumacher now playing second base and he's trying to help out over there?
Yeah, it might be part of it. Tony La Russa, winningest active manager, ahead of Bobby Cox and Joe Torre. 14th year with St. Louis, his 31st year in the big leagues. And he's had St. Louis in postseason 7 of those 13 years. 7 division titles and 2 World Series. 3-2 to Dukes. Elijah tips it and strikes out. So Mitchell Boggs strikes out the side, but with 1 out and Nick Johnson aboard, Ryan Zimmerman goes right center. Great level swing, 2-2 game. Of their respective franchises. For Ryan, number 5 on the year. For Albert Pujols, his 8th. Bottom 3 in the St. Louis order with Jason LaRue, leading off. Now here's where Cabrera, who's just been given 2 runs by his teammates, needs to go out, Rob, and do what?
Just have some fun. Play some ball. Just pick up Jesus Flores back there and just have some fun. Don't sweat it so much. Just seems like every pitch is like trying to split the atom.
That's a good breaking ball.
A very good breaking ball.
That's a big fella at 6'9", pulling the string on a 78-mile-an-hour pitch.
See him pull down. Nice form. Nice follow through. One was a little bit flat. I don't like fiddling with off speed though with this guy. He's got a very slow bat.
I know you don't
He's like Chris Coast.
You don't like off speed pitches at the bottom of the order, do you?
No, I don't. Attaboy.
But he's having a hard time throwing the fastball for strikes.
Which amazes me, because the easiest pitch to throw, well, I shouldn't say easiest pitch, but one of the less demanding pitches, a fastball. It is a little bit up. And you've probably had the most repetition throwing a fastball throughout your lifetime.
.231 career hitter. Cabrera walks him to lead off the second, with Tyler Green, the shortstop, coming up. But since '07, the Nats and Cards have split a dozen meetings. St. Louis won the season series last year 5-1. The Nats won it the year before 5-1. Cardinals good slugging against the Nats last year. 7 unearned runs for Daniel Cabrera. Now, that's not all his fault. That ball never made it to the batter's box on a fly. He has walked 3 batters, and he has thrown 3 wild pitches.
I don't think he pitches against the hitters. That's my thought on him. He's battling his own demons out there. He doesn't know that Jason LaRue is up there with a career average of .231. He's just, there's a man up there, and he's trying to hit the glove, and he's got mechanics in his head. But I think that's from coaches in the past, not from where he is now. And I think Randy St. Clair's trying to undo some of that stuff.
And here's a kid making his major league debut and slicing one foul into the corner on a well hit ball. 1 ball, 1 strike.
But that's great being said. But what I'm trying to say is you got to be a big league pitcher. You know, that's all fine and dandy. You're trying to, get rid of all those demons and everything. But there's a ball game going on out here, and you have to become part of that before, all the other work that's being done on them.
Well, and you can say, what about the unearned runs? The defense betrayed it. One of the reasons there's poor defense is because those guys are standing around out there for long innings when there's no rhythm to the game. So pitchers are accountable for some of that as well. And he overpowers him there. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
It's a fabulous point. I played with a guy like Tom Browning, who, when he threw his perfect game, I think he threw it in 1 hour and 40 minutes. And Tommy, from broadcasting our games, worked very quickly. And what that does is it keeps the defense on the balls of their feet. They're more in tune with the pitches, and they play better defense behind you because they don't start sitting back and standing around on the heels of their feet.
1 ball and 2 strikes. Jesus Flores all over the place tonight. Three outs in the game for Cabrera, 32 pitches. Got him looking, a breaking ball on the outside corner. That helps as the runner remains at second with 1 out. Cabrera, first strikeout.
Here you see the big 2-2 breaking ball right there. Perfectly placed on the outer black for strike 3.
And here's the pitcher, Mitchell Boggs.
Mechanics of a 6'9", 280-pound man. Very nice mechanics. It's just repeating the delivery that he's had trouble with in his career.
Boggs 0 for 1 with the bat this year with a sacrifice, 0 for 9 career. There's a fastball for a strike. Boggs played at the University of Georgia, where he was a reliever. And he reaches out and hits it well to center. Elijah Dukes right there.
You got a guy there
for the second out. It'll be up to Schumacher for the Cardinals here in the top of the second. Come on out on May 5th, T-shirt Tuesday. The Nats face off against the Astros at 12:35. That'll be our getaway day next Tuesday. First 10,000 fans receive a free Teddy Cinco de Mayo T-shirt. 888-632-NATS or nationals.com. Add to your Teddy collection. Look at him with the sombrero.
Talk softly and carry a big sombrero.
You know, what is it, the golden sombrero when you strike out 4 times in a row? Teddy has lost like 200 races in a row. What sombrero is that? Platinum? Skip Schumacher on a little bouncer to Zimmerman. Retired first time up. That was a good breaking ball in under the hands. Longtime LaRusse coach Dave McKay handles it over there. Like Dave Duncan, a former catcher. They've had very little turnover in their coaching staff in recent years. I think Hal McRae, the hitting coach, might be the man of the least tenure on that staff. And he's been there at least 4 years. 0-2 to Schumacher.
I've interviewed Tony LaRusse dozens of times over the last 10 years, and the one thing he always says, I go wherever Dave Duncan goes. So when Dave Duncan was up on his contract a few years ago, he made sure that he got an extension.
Yeah, Tony batting his pitcher ninth these days, by the way. That has been a variation lately. 1-2 strikes to Schumacher. Play on at second, and Guzman had to reach around the runner to grab that throw.
Nice play by Christian right there. You don't want Jason LaRue, although I don't think Jason LaRue is going to, if the ball goes into center field, make a dash for third.
He's trying to get a big enough lead.
I don't know what he's doing.
To try to score on a 2-out single. That won't happen. Nick Johnson has it on the roller by Schumacher, and Cabrera gathers himself after the leadoff walk. Austin Kearns, we're covering the bases with the Nats. Veteran right fielder. He's coming right.
Going to Walter Reed is very special. Really puts things in perspective for anybody that goes. And then last year, me and Zim and Nick got to go to the White House and have lunch with President Bush. So that was big time.
Austin also told me he remembered from that conversation that he and his teammates had a lot of questions for the president, but the president just wanted to talk baseball and talk baseball and talk baseball. Bob?
Well, that conversation, I guess, was a little longer than that at bat. Austin went up swinging early, and he fouled out to Albert Pujols. Austin, of course, a former Mr. Baseball from the state of Kentucky. I wonder if the president had some good Kentucky ham for him on that day.
I know when they went there, they kept asking the president if they could push the red button. And I guess he has a red button and a red phone in every room wherever he goes, just in case. I don't know. It might even be a joke that he has that in every room, but because everybody thinks that that's the button to end the world or whatever. But I guess Austin.
I think it's a little more complicated than that.
Austin and Zim and those guys kept bugging him about it. I think it was making Nick Johnson nervous, though.
Strike one to Jesus Flores. He rocks one to left center. He needed that ball to get by Tyler Green because he came into that at bat 0 for 12. Hit the ball great in New York and had a big 0 for in Philadelphia. So that'll add to his 267 batting average.
The big strong catcher that we possess. Jesus Flores right there. Nice fluid swing. Linea in the center field.
Anderson Hernandez has come alive with the bat. He is 8 for his last 12 over 3 games. That's been a big boost to the Nats now that he's down in that number 8 spot. That's a double play ball. Hernandez is going to have to hurry, and he will beat it out. Normal batter, that's a 4.63, but he keeps the inning alive, so at least Daniel Cabrera can bat here in the second. Daniel Cabrera, 0 for 20 career with 18 strikeouts.
He did make contact, though.
He's made contact twice.
And he got a sac bunt, didn't he, or not?
He laid down a sac bunt.
He did.
But he has
got to get those batting gloves right, though. He should just swing hard. If he makes connection, it could go somewhere.
Yeah, he's a big fella.
That's putting it mildly.
Sometimes
he's a giant fella.
He is.
That's a long slump. I went over my first 20. So maybe he's due.
How many punch outs in that 20?
Only 5.
Well, that's good.
That was a contact out.
That was funny because you didn't pitch to contact, but you hit to contact.
I wasn't going to be a cheapie, a cheap pitcher strikeout.
You know, the thing about Cabrera, the Orioles thought they were really onto something 5 years ago.
Yep.
His first year in the big leagues, the ERA was up, but he won 12 games, lost 8, took the ball 27 times, pitched nearly 150 innings. At that time, he was only 22. So you figure this kid's off to a start. He's going to figure it out. He's going to be a big winner. Then he goes 10-13, 9-10, 9-18, 8-10, and the Orioles give up on him. Nats signed him as a free agent December 29th. 2-2, and that's off the plate. And Mitchell Boggs would be creating a bad situation for himself if he walks this guy with the deluxe hitter Guzman coming up. But he throws him a strike, and everybody can leave the diamond. The Nats get a base hit by Flores and Strand. One runner. It's 2-2 into the third. And his mom decided to have a catch.
I remember playing catch with my mom when I was little, and I broke her nose. She wasn't looking, and I threw a ball and it hit her in the nose, and it
broke her nose. That was the last time she ever participated in any baseball activities.
You know, Debbie Taylor laughing in the background.
I can't believe she finds that amusing. You're a mom. How can you find that amusing?
There's a young Austin with his pretty mom. You know, Debbie Taylor better watch it. And watch out here. Colby Rasmus into right center, but he didn't get all of it.
Nah, we got a guy there named Dukes.
Elijah Dukes. Debbie better watch out. Little Caitlin's going to unleash a fastball. Ticketed for her someday.
Why was that so amusing?
I was visualizing it. And it just seemed very comical to me. And you know what? It's something that would happen with me and my daughter, too.
You know, they say,
no doubt.
They say keep your eyes on the ball. She wasn't looking.
Kept her nose on the ball.
I got to say, too, one thing. Austin is so proud of his parents. And he said they have really, really helped him throughout his entire, from the first time he picked up a baseball to right now. And they've been so supportive, and he really appreciates that.
Now, that's good deception right there. Albert Pujols thought that was a fastball. He homered to the bullpen in left center. First time up after a walk to Rasmus.
Oh, look, he's beating up on his dad.
Man, tough kid.
Jeez, break your mom's nose, beat your pop up.
But you know what?
No, he's a good kid.
You know what? God has a sense of humor. He gave Austin 2 kids, and I know they beat up on each other all the time. That's a very active family they've got going there. 2 balls and a strike, and it's outside. 3-1 to Pujols. Rob, here's another point that we only barely touched on. Now, Chris Duncan is a solid major league hitter, but he's not Ryan Ludwig.
No.
So you do not have to pitch to Albert Pujols here.
Well, I'd much rather make a mistake, because you can get away with more mistakes with Chris Duncan than Albert Pujols. And you saw in the first at bat, first mistake he made, Albert put it right over the wall. Trying to find the plate right here. Feeds him a fastball. Not a good idea. Albert says, I'll take that one right off the back of the bullpen wall.
And Pujols is one of those guys who runs around the bases. He does not stand around admiring his shot.
No,
the only time I ever saw him do that was the home run he hit against Brad Lidge in the 05 LCS. That was one for the ages. Duncan walked his first time. Pujols takes off, and Cabrera, standing on the rubber, never reacted. If he simply stepped off, Albert Pujols would have been dead. I'm glad he was focused on the hitter. Pujols is 4 for 4 stealing bases this year.
Well, Albert is not the fastest base runner in the world, but he is one of the smartest in the major leagues, and he will do things on a baseball field that only the smartest can do, because he's always thinking, what can I do next?
Would you be surprised if I told you he has 49 career stolen bases?
No, I wouldn't, because I've heard Tony talk about how smart a baseball player he is in every facet of the game. And so I think that he can sneak out there and steal a few bags a year and go first to third as well as anybody in the major leagues. Things like that. The fundamental part of the game, I think he's the best at.
Duncan will pop it up left field. Guzman is out there. Christian has it for the second out. Rick Ankiel will be next, and he hit the ball about 390 out to center field, caught by Dukes this first time.
I don't think there's ever been a player in our generation that's as close to a Joe DiMaggio or a Ted Williams than Albert Pujols, and I'll tell you why. Like with his walks, his first year 69, well, last 69 and 93 strikeouts, but now he's up to 104 walks and 54 strikeouts. So he is one of those walk more than strikeout guys. You already gave his walks to strikeouts in his career, but his on-base percentage lifetime in 9 years is .425. I mean, he's amazing to watch.
And nobody does that anymore.
No, because strikeouts are not a fault anymore, but he considers that a mistake by striking out.
Ankiel takes one lone inside. Rick Ankiel is an interesting story. He's only the 12th major league player in history to hit his first homer as a pitcher, and then later homer as a position player at the major league level. He hit 25 last year. Right back to the mound. Cabrera got his bare hand on it. I think Christian Guzman would have had that ball. And the only way that would be a hit would be if the pitcher touched it. And it'll be first and third, 2 outs.
Sometimes you want to just let this go, as they were probably playing close up the middle. It looked like Christian Guzman would have had a play on that. But Daniel Cabrera instinctively tries to knock it down. That's what pitchers do sometimes. They're another defender on the field. I would think his pitching hand is as big as some of our infielders' gloves. I'm not trying to be funny either. Goes pretty much up his arm right here. Right up the forearm there. So that's got to smart a little bit.
Joe Thurston will be next for St. Louis. Lee Kuntz, the trainer, Randy St. Clair, the pitching coach, back to the dugout. And St. Louis will have runners at the corners with 2 outs. 2-2 ball game, top of the third. I guess he hasn't mastered that barehanded play like Ronnie Belliard pulled off the other day.
That was pretty cool. Or the catch Kevin Mitchell made in foul territory years ago.
Here's Joe Thurston, bounced out to short first time. And he pops it up left side. Guzman out, done in. It's Adams' play. He's got it. And Cabrera pitches pretty well, actually, in the second and the third. Top of the order, Guzman, Johnson, and Zimmerman. Live music, dancers, Nats baseball. First 20,000 fans receive a free Los Nacionales t-shirt. In-game tributes to celebrate the contributions of Latino ball players. 888-632-NATS or Nationals.com. Bottom of the third, Guzman for the Nationals. Slaps one up the middle. Pitcher knocks it down and keeps it close. Threw it wide. Albert Pujols the backhand grab. Guzman 0 for 2. Christian Guzman, by the way, counting his time off, has an 8-game hitting streak. 6 of those multi-hit games. Streaky team in a good way. Next up, Nick Johnson. He served a base hit to left field before the Zimmerman homer back in the first. So 2 quality hitters did a real good job of not pulling the ball and putting 2 runs on the board. Boy, Nick has become a great number 2 hitter. And I had a conversation about something like this with La Russa several years ago. he liked power in the number 2 spot. He used to bat Larry Walker there for St. Louis after he came over as a free agent from Colorado. Of course, you have to have some boppers behind you to be able to put a guy like that second. And the Nationals have that with Zimmerman, Dunn, and Dukes. Two balls and a strike. I think La Russa first did that in Oakland with Carney Lansford, who was a guy who hit for high average and power at the same time. He did it with Carlton Fisk in Chicago. Nick Johnson rips one. Schumacher knocks it down. He keeps it close enough and makes a fine play to retire Nick. But the Nats are hitting the ball hard for the most part here. And Zimmerman coming up.
Well, this is a great defensive play right here. Schumacher just knocks it down. Knows he can't get to it on the run. Still has plenty of time to get Nick Johnson, who's not that fleet of foot.
That was an interesting play. He actually overreached the ball and hit the end of his web and then ricocheted into his body.
No, it was hit so hard he had really no time to react. And so he just knocked it down, and being hit so hard he had a little extra time to get Nick at first.
Good breaking ball to Zimmerman. Ryan's now hit 5 homers, driven in 16. And he's hit safely in 20 of 21 games this year. I love that look he gives Debbie every time she mentions the hitting streak. Hitters do not want to talk about why anything's going well. They just want to see the ball, hit the ball. That's another good hard breaking ball in the outside corner, and the count's 1-2.
Well, pitchers are the same way, though. When you're pitching well, you don't want to know what your earned run average is in the last 10, 20 games, whatever it is, and you don't want to know that kind of stuff. You don't want to jinx yourself.
Target away. That's nasty. Boggs gets ahead of Zimmerman. He struck out 5 of the 9 men he's retired. On to the middle innings, 2-2. Have done their job so far. Bob and Rob back here, and kind of a typical way these two guys have been swinging the bat lately.
Yeah, and Ryan Zimmerman's really on fire. I mean, he's hitting balls the other way. He hit a couple of home runs the other night. One to center field, one to left field. This is a breaking ball up and away. He goes with it, and really, that's the way you're supposed to hit. You give back to the pitcher what he gives you, and you saw right there where Boggs threw it up and away. And he just went with it. If he had tried to pull that, he probably would have hit a ground ball right to the shortstop.
The catcher LaRue for the Cardinals in the top of the 4th inning. Broken bat, half swing. Hernandez. And Daniel Cabrera is gradually turning his night around here. He's walked 4, but the only man of those 4 who scored was Colby Rasmuth in front of the Pujols homer back in the first inning. So he has a chance for a quick inning. Facing Tyler Green now.
It looks like he's settled down a little bit more, and he's starting to attack the hitters now, and he's not worried about mechanics, and that's when you're pitching, when you're just battling the guy in front of you.
And you've got a good defense behind you, so let them make a few plays. And Ryan Zimmerman picks that one off. And now with the pitcher coming up, this could be a very brief inning. You know, Rob, along those same lines, one of the most important things that happened last night in Philadelphia was when Scott Olson, in his 5th inning of work, had a 5-pitch inning with the pitcher leading off, then Rollins and Victorino. The caught stealing helped.
And he has been on his way.
That could really give a pitcher a boost in the middle of a game.
Well, I know where you were going with that, because at that point he had a lot of pitches, and they were starting to add up quickly, and that kept him out there for a little bit longer. Gave us a chance to get to the people that Manny Acta could put in a situation they could succeed in coming out of the bullpen. And it's very important to try to get to that 6th or 7th inning by a starting pitcher.
And that's very quick in the top of the 4th inning. So Daniel Cabrera has suddenly retired 5 of the last 6, and he's retired 10 of the last 12. Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. And by Aflac, we've got you under our wing. Our capital is beautiful on this Thursday evening, last night of April. And the Geico President's Race just completed. Rob Dibble thinks that if Teddy could win a race, the Nats just might take off this year. He had the lead for a while.
I'm all about changing your karma, and you've never allowed in the history of the President's Race Teddy to win one. And I don't think it's funny. I think you're keeping Teddy down. And he's holding us back.
And you can't keep a good man down.
No.
Not in this country.
And I'm so happy that Mike Wallace and Javier and all the guys down in the clubhouse brought the blue jerseys out tonight.
You finally got to them, huh?
Well, I think they heard me whining like a little girl enough to put them in the lockers to try to make me be quiet. I just love
Adam Dunn.
They got the red, white, and blue in the DC. We won the only game we've played in them.
Here's a home run count, 2-0 with a hitter like this. Let's see what Mitchell Boggs throws him. And then Austin Kern sitting behind Dukes. Adams right there with Albert, A-Rod, ahead of David Ortiz and Manny Ramirez. Who would have thought that? And that's a 4-pitch walk. And Adam Dunn, the most walked batter in the league, is on base free for his 21st time this year. That'll be the first walk tonight for Mitchell Boggs. Elijah Dukes will be next. Boggs struck him out first time up, but Elijah saw a lot of pitches in that at bat. So this second time around the order is really important for these Washington hitters who've never seen this pitcher before. That's a breaking ball that he left upstairs.
Something Jason LaRue doesn't like after those 5 straight balls.
Now, but here, it's easy to do it 20/20 hindsight. Let's call this right now. A 4-pitch walk. It's 1-0. Why would you swing now at the next pitch, right?
You wouldn't unless this guy throws a meat fastball.
Right.
If this guy, if you can tell that he's just going to lay a fastball in there and you guess at that, then by all means crush that. But a lot of times in the stretch, he may throw a breaking ball to try to keep the front shoulder in and pull his mechanics back together.
That was a fastball right down the middle.
Ball down Broadway.
So right there, that's okay for Elijah Dukes.
And Elijah's already taken a 3-0 fastball for a home run this year. So he's one guy that you can turn loose. I would say Adam Dunn and Zimmerman are a couple guys that also 3-0. They get their pitch, just hack at it.
Austin Kearns waiting on deck. And a weak grounder up the middle. Shortstop has to come in front of the bag. Green to Schumacher, got the lead runner. We've got something interesting for you. May 12th of 2007, the Nationals were playing the Florida Marlins, and after 3 hours and 38 minutes of rain, the ball stays in play. That was Reggie Abercrombie who couldn't find it, and Austin Kearns would come all the way around for an inside the park homer. That was in the bottom of the 6th inning. And that was a game that Ryan Zimmerman won with a grand slam at 1:42 in the morning. Did you see Josh Willingham pick that ball up, by the way?
Yes, I did.
Elijah Dukes battling and grounding out. And here's Kearns, who fouled out on 1 pitch his first time. I always find it interesting when hitters seeing a pitcher for the first time swing at the first pitch. That's what Kearns did. Played for the USA Junior National Team back in '97.
Wasn't it '98 when he got Mr. Baseball in Kentucky?
Mr. Baseball.
Mr. Baseball.
The only thing bigger than that in Kentucky is being Mr. Basketball.
Or Mr. Ed at the Kentucky Derby.
Came over here. 8 years after being drafted by the Reds with Felipe Lopez and Ryan Wagner for Gary Majeski, Billy Bray, Royce Clayton, Brendan Harris, and right-handed pitcher Darrell Thompson. When Jim Bowden pulled off that deal, everybody in this town thought we had our shortstop and our right fielder for the next 10 years. It may work out. Half of that's true. Oh, they've got Dukes picked off. The ball is dropped by Pujols, and they still get him. Elijah Dukes picked off for the second time in the last 3 games, and had he kept running hard to second, he would have made it. Albert Pujols almost made his 5th error of the year.
Well, you see Elijah get happy feet right there. He was going to go on the pitch and started to lean a little bit, put weight on that outside foot, and then he was in no man's land. And
well,
he's working on it.
But these are costly outs.
Yes, they are.
Second time this week he's been picked off. So Kearns bats, bases empty. The 3-1 count now. We'll see if Austin gets something to work with. He got a fastball and couldn't catch up. Austin's always liked playing in the Central and against the Central. Of course, the Reds are in that division. Now the pickoff really hurts. Would have been 2-on-1 out. Second walk of the inning by Mitchell Boggs.
Well, and I can't say we're not working on this stuff. Here's some more stuff on Austin Kearns. We were out here taking infield today. We were out here running the bases today. They were doing everything they could to better themselves. And the Nationals know they need some work on a few things. They addressed it.
Yeah, the Gators wanted him to come and play baseball, which really would have been ironic because Austin grew up a huge University of Kentucky fan. And those schools are, of course, in the SEC together.
Okay, does he listen to country music or does he play country music? Because that's one of his hobbies. But, you know, does he play guitar?
I don't know that he plays.
The banjo, the harmonica. What part of the country music does he do?
I'm pretty sure he wears his John Deere hat while enjoying country music. Jesus Flores singled hard up the middle, first time up. Debbie has more on Austin's musical tastes.
All right, you guys, this is a good one. He is a huge karaoke fan. And his go-to song, Achy Breaky Heart.
Billy Ray Cyrus. Oh.
Come on, Austin. You can set your sights a little higher than that.
Wow. I might not have wanted to know that about him.
Yeah.
I really liked him before that.
That's, boy, he's gone down my list.
Wow.
We need to have a little chat with Abby about that.
Taking it, Abby's his wife.
It is. And she's awesome. Big breaking ball and a strikeout. Strikeout number 6 for Mitchell Boggs tonight. 5th inning coming up. Manny and LaRussa matching up 2-2. And Zimmerman. It's time for our Aflac trivia.
Aflac!
What happened? Pujols, 977 RBIs. Who holds the record for most RBIs in his first 8 major league seasons? Wow, that's a tough one.
I think it's Hack Wilson or somebody like that.
What do you have? He had 180 something that one year.
Maybe it was Juan Gonzalez.
The all-time record.
The bird didn't chirp. The duck didn't make his little. What happened?
I don't know.
He got laryngitis?
We can only hope.
Or is he on strike until we get back to 500?
Schumacher, 2 ground balls, 1 to Zimmerman, 1 to Johnson. This is a St. Louis team that came in leading the league at 287. They were hitting over 300 until about 5 days ago. But Cabrera's held them to 2 hits while walking 4 tonight. That's fair, right inside the bag. Austin Kearns was playing near the line, but the ball is hit so softly, no chance for a play. Schumacher
This is a breaking ball that doesn't break too much. Right there on the inner half, and wham! Schumacher gets it down the line. Nick Johnson.
So that's his 5th double of the year. That's an 11-game hitting streak for him. He has 13 hits in his last 46 at-bats. Colby Rasmus now becomes key, trying to move that runner over. Over the years, St. Louis has been one of the better fundamental teams in baseball at doing things like this.
Well, now you know why they were able to let Aaron Miles go in spring training and put Schumacher at second.
And he was a pretty good outfielder, too.
I think these mosquitoes like your cologne, Bob.
Yeah, we had a lot of bugs flying up here tonight. I thought it was too cold for that.
Not cold enough.
That's a wild pitch, and the Nats give the Cardinals 90 more feet. 4 wild pitches tonight.
And this breaking ball is going to go right under Rasmus, and Jesus does block it to his right a little bit. That allows Schumacher to get to third. Jesus having a lot of fun back there tonight.
Infield in. Tie game, top of the 5th.
Hey, I'm totally down with. He has about 5 wild pitches and 8 innings and 2 runs against. That's not a bad outing. He's on a good run there for the last 3 innings.
Not even coming close. I don't know what the big deal is with Colby Rasmus, a rookie right fielder who has Albert Pujols sitting behind him. Cabrera walked him in the first inning, then gave up a 2-run laser. He did fly him out in the 3rd before walking Pujols. If this guy gets on base, you've got a heap of trouble. If you retire him, then you can decide whether you want to pitch to Albert Pujols or not. 3-1. Drilled out to left center. Dukes is after it. He'll make a running catch, and Skip Schumacher coming home to score. St. Louis leads 3-2. In my opinion, that's better than walking him. You've got an out, and the bases are now empty for Pujols. Albert tonight, 2-run homer, a walk, and a stolen base. Pujols has 8 home runs and now 327 in his career. He's gone over 1,000 RBIs here early in his 9th major league season. Needed only 23 with that 977 to reach it. That's a good breaking ball.
Very nice.
Another note on Albert Pujols, who's been to 7 All-Star games in his 8 years. He's received the most votes this decade of any player in Major League Baseball.
Fans recognize the talent.
2 MVPs, 05 and 08, Gold Glove in 06.
Recognize the skills.
Won the batting title in 03. Youngest ever to reach 250 home runs. And the 0-2 to Albert. Cabrera throws one upstairs. He beat Jimmy Fox, Alex Rodriguez, Eddie Matthews, and Mel Ott to 250 homers. And he beat Willie Mays to 1,000 hits and 200 homers. And here's what's a little scary about that. He did it in 825 fewer at bats. Almost 2 full seasons. Cabrera on 2-2. He had Pujols reaching and a fly ball to right center. That's a great job of a second out right there. That'll bring up Chris Duncan with 2 down.
Well, Daniel Cabrera works ahead here with the breaking ball. 80-mile-an-hour breaker for strike one. Just lays it in there. Throws 92 on the outer half. We're staying away right here. A little bit of a hanging breaking ball there. Didn't break. He throws a fastball up over his head. And he throws a fastball perfectly placed on the outer half and gets him out. Nicely done, Daniel. He has to remember that right there. Just stick with that muscle memory. It's one of the best hitters of our generation. And just stick that in the memory bank.
Duncan rips one to center.
Not that one.
That's a big, strong hitter. And the Cardinals have their second hit of the inning. First time tonight they've had more than one hit in an inning. Rick Ankiel will be coming up.
Well, here's a fastball down Broadway, and the monster of a man, Chris Duncan, just lines it up to Elijah Dukes. It's better than a home run, though.
He's hit 2. Here's Ankiel. Way out ahead of that one.
They have some thunder in their lineup, too.
They came in with 23 home runs. That's 4th in the league. Of course, Pujols had 7 of those.
And they don't have Gloss. When Troy Gloss is in there, another 6'6" guy.
Yeah, he's got a right shoulder problem that has him on the DL from the start of the season. And then Ryan Ludwig has hit 5. Good changeup by Cabrera there. Ankiel was so far out ahead of the first pitch. Daniel pulled the string on him even more.
Well, he pulls this one out of his bag of tricks right here. It's a nice little changeup.
83 for a guy who has topped out at 97 in his career.
There you see it. I think he went. He didn't even ask for help. Of course not.
Ankiel 1 for 2 with a base hit off Cabrera's hand last time. Cabrera due to bat second in the bottom of the 5th.
I was going to say the reason why Rick Ankiel is a player now is that he had his own control problems as a pitcher and had to go back and become an everyday player.
In 2 2/3 innings against the Atlanta Braves in 2000, he threw 5 wild pitches and had an ERA of 13.50. The guy had the sweetest delivery and smoothest mechanics you've ever seen. But Mike Matheny got hurt that year. A freak thing. He was given a hunting knife as a birthday present.
I remember that.
Cut his finger, could not appear in the playoffs. And working with Carlos Hernandez, Rick Ankiel could not throw a strike. Low and inside, ball 3.
Now, at the same time, he was going through some personal issues with his father, was he not?
Who has been in and out of prison.
Yes, so
Rick had a tough upbringing.
Yep. Having to start a playoff game, a lot of pressure.
3 balls and 2 strikes, and now Duncan will be on the move. And Ankiel has power. He can drive the ball to a gap or out of here. Nick trying to keep the runner close, and Cabrera steps off. A long inning for Daniel with the Schumacher leadoff double. Ankiel foul tips it. He gets a lot of walks, but not much hitting on these kind of counts. (3-2) and a ball in the dirt walks him. 5 walks, 4 wild pitches by Cabrera tonight. What's kept him in the game is being at times unhittable. And the hitter will be Joe Thurston with 2 outs.
Is that Logan Kensing?
Logan Kensing sighting.
Now you see him, now you don't. Oh, there he is.
This could be an interesting situation for him to be a part of in a tight game. Did he go? I don't think the Nats have had an appeal called for a strike in the last week. Bill Welke down there tonight.
There's Logan Kensing.
Glad to be here after being designated for assignment by the Marlins. And the Nats picked him up. Cabrera started this inning having thrown 59 pitches. He's at 84 here in the fifth.
Not many for strikes.
But he's 3 innings deeper into the game after a similar pitch count as he had on his last start. That was on Saturday at Citi Field. Now it appears his breaking ball has deserted him for strikes.
There we go. 45 strikes, 40 balls.
In his career before this year, 651 strikeouts, 478 walks. So his MO has been 2 walks for every 3 strikeouts in his career.
But the damage has been self-inflicted, and that's, you know, he's a good kid, and you hate to see a guy out there and he's really beating himself.
Joe Thurston on a 2-2 pitch. Breaking his bat over to Nick Johnson. He'll feed Cabrera at the bag, and St. Louis is done in the top of the 5th. They get an RBI by Colby Rasmus on the sac fly and lead 3-2. Future is looking bright. 3-2, St. Louis leads it. Major League Baseball and People magazine are looking for individuals who've made a difference in their communities around baseball. 30 everyday All-Stars will be honored in St. Louis at the All-Star Game. To nominate, go to peopleallstars.com. Mitchell Boggs, 61 pitches through 4 innings of work. He takes on Hernandez. Cabrera in the on-deck circle, and then Christian Guzman here in the 5th inning. Cabrera's now thrown 87 pitches in his 5 innings.
He doesn't look that tired, though.
Well, it's a cool night.
It's a cool night. He's a big man. Maybe stretching him out's the thing.
Anderson Hernandez takes one up and in. He's bounced into a fielder's choice tonight. Still 8 for his last 13. The kid had quite a game last night in Philly. 3 for 4 with 2 RBIs, a steal, and a run. And when you get that out of your number 8 man, that is fantastic. The Nats out hit the Phillies 11-7 and beat them 4-1 last night. Hernandez slaps it left field corner. A foul ball by a foot or 2, and he would have been off to the races. You get a ball down in the corner. Chris Duncan is not that fast, and that ball could have rattled around for 2 or 3 bases.
Well, you see that sinker going down and away. Anderson Hernandez, great job of recognizing the rotation of the ball, and he goes with it. Almost gets rewarded with a double, maybe more.
I like the way this kid's swinging the bat right now.
He's shortening up the swing. Rick Eckstein working with him. Just put it in play and run like the wind.
As we mentioned last night, only 168 major league at bats before this year. He's never had a chance to play every day. Swinging a foul tip on a pitch up. 7 strikeouts for Mitchell Boggs, who had 7 strikeouts in, 6 strikeouts in 8 innings coming in. Albert Pujols, 977 RBIs his first 8 years. Who holds the record for most?
Stan Musial. That's my guess.
Is it a Cardinal?
Damn it.
Lou Gehrig.
So close. Okay, maybe not. That's some good company right there.
Albert Pujols will own a lot of Stan Musial's records by the time he retires. That ball hit Cabrera.
And Daniel doesn't even know it yet.
Well, he's never been to first base. Ever. Oh, he did have a walk in the last homestand, remember?
Yes. Remember, he was trying to steal a base. He had the fingers going and everything.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, just gets his jersey, those lucky blue jerseys.
Watch the jersey if it moves.
Oh, yes.
That's a good replay, guys.
We have a winner. Great Exmo, guys.
All right. Let's hope Guzman hits a ball far enough that Cabrera doesn't clog the bases here.
Great job, Bob and Jeff, on the Exmo.
Ryan Zimmerman's favorite camera. Although Zimmerman, it was funny when he talked to you, he said, man, that camera can show us doing some good things.
It could also show us doing some bad things.
Yes,
but they do want to see it. They want to see their at-bats in slow motion.
Guzman hasn't gone 0 for 3 very much this year. As I mentioned, in his previous 8 games, he'd hit safely in every one of them. 6 of them multi-hit games, and he came in batting .474. But he's in the hole 0-2.
How about if he just takes off right now and steals second?
Please. Stay there.
No one's holding him on. You got to get more than a foot off the base.
1 ball and 2 strikes to Guzman.
It's funny too because having played with a lot of these coaches, Pat Listash and Marquise Grissom, they were out there. They were the runners, the official runners today while they were doing the rundowns and the base running and stuff like that. I'm sure it's been a few years since those boys. There's Patty, my teammate in Milwaukee, and Marquise, awesome leadoff hitter that I had to face many times during my career, and they were out there running the bases today. Marquise stole a lot of bases in his career.
Two balls and 2 strikes. It was 0-2. Guzman takes a fastball to the right side. Pujols to short, and Guzman beats the relay. Daniel Cabrera did a decent job of hanging around,
yes,
trying to shield the view of the ball from Pujols there.
You always get nervous when one of your everyday players is going to second base, but this is your 6'9" pitcher, and the shortstop broke down through sidearm. See how close this gets to Daniel. Yeah, ooh, that was kind of close and scary, but I don't think Tyler Green was trying to hit him.
No, that's a kid making his major league debut.
Yes.
He's just trying to make a straight throw.
Now, if you had a few years in the big leagues, you'd see some guys go underneath and really make you get down.
Nick Johnson, 1 for 2 tonight. He could be 2 for 2, but Skip Schumacher robbed him on a shot up the middle last time. So Nick is locked in tonight. Guzman has a stolen base this year, and as we've talked about numerous times, one of the best runners in the American League for a while. He has 118 career steals, but the running game has slowed down the last few years. That's what you would call a mediocre success rate, 2 of every 3. Very good would be up in the 80 range.
80 plus, 85%. Very good.
Target away on 1-1. Nick Johnson, look at that, another line drive. He's hit the ball on the button 3 times tonight. First and second, 2 outs.
I think if we had a graph on how many times Nick goes to left field, it'd probably be about 75% of the time. Look at that sinker down and away. See LaRue almost try to pick it out of the dirt, but nice little shot over in the left field by Nick Johnson. We got something going, first and second with 2 outs. Again,
Nick Johnson's now batting .347. Here's Zimmerman, big spot for Ryan. The Cardinals have just scored to take the lead, and the Nats could take it right back here. He's 1 for 2 with a 2-run homer tonight.
Here's a hits by direction.
Look at that.
Great by our production crew here.
19 of 25 hits not pulled. Ryan Zimmerman, last time up, got a steady diet of breaking balls from Mitchell Boggs, who struck him out on an 0-2 hook well off the plate. So we'll see what kind of adjustment Zimmerman has made from that last AB.
All we need is one mistake here by Mr. Boggs,
who is due to bat third in the top of the 6th. Zimmerman gets a fastball, hits it to right field. Did he get enough? No, he didn't. It's up against the wall at about the 360 mark and caught by Colby Rasmus. When the weather's warmer, that ball's up against the wall or out of here, but not on this cool evening.
Acta told me Austin Kearns is a manager's dream. Here's more from the Nats skipper.
He's a guy that, you don't have to worry about him. You know that next day he's going to be here at the ballpark regardless of how he does and play his heart out for you. We'll run balls out. We'll play good defense. We'll grind out at bats. And you know that the lack of production, it's not because of lack of effort.
Manny also credits Austin for really working hard both in the offseason, throughout spring training, and every day during this regular season, and trying to get his bat back to where it used to be, and he's seen some great progress.
Getting on base average coming into the ballgame tonight of nearly 400. Jason LaRue retired on a bouncer to short, and Anderson Hernandez has this pop up to second. And Tyler Green, the shortstop, is 0 for 3. And Mitchell Boggs will be the hitter. And here's Cabrera in his 6th inning of work, and a chance to get a very quick 1-2-3, just like he did against these same hitters in the 4th. You'd love to get your team right back in the dugout, bats in hands. Cardinals in-game box score. RBIs from the number 2 hole. Rasmus, sac fly. Pujols, the 2-run homer in the 1st. Cabrera's only given them 4 hits. Walked 5, 4 wild pitches. But he's done a good job of damage control tonight as well.
Did you say that this is a new Nationals record for a single game by Daniel Cabrera's 4 wild pitches?
I didn't.
Yes,
but you just did.
He set a new record thanks to John Dever, director of press relations here at Washington.
Mike Hinckley, the lefty, joining Logan Kensing, who's up for the 2nd time. And this one out to right center by Boggs. Cabrera gets a very quick top of the 6th inning. Here comes Adam Dunn, Elijah Dukes, and our covering the bases guy, Mr. Kearns. No hidden fees. And by PNC Bank. PNC leading the way. It's actually turned into a very nice night here at the ballpark. A lot of games coming up on this homestand. 5 more after this, and a lot of baseball to be played tonight against St. Louis. Support local youth baseball and softball. The Nats baseball equipment drive is this weekend. Starts tomorrow through Sunday. Drop off new and gently used baseball and softball gear outside the center field gates until the end of the 4th inning each day. Donated equipment and a $5,000 grant from the Baseball Tomorrow Fund to purchase new equipment will benefit a local youth baseball softball organization near you. Hope you can participate. Remember, gently used baseball softball gear, and we appreciate it very much.
I love how that girl is schooling her boyfriend on baseball.
I like it.
Baseball?
Somebody's got to teach.
How many goals do they score?
How many points you get for a homer? Speaking of goals and points, congratulations to our Capitals.
Yeah, Ovechkin moving on. Going to face Sidney Crosby in the next round.
Adam Dunn 0 for 1 with a walk. Bottom of the 6th. 3-2 St. Louis leads. Hits are even at 4. 2-0. Mitchell Boggs is up in the 80 pitch territory now. Cabrera just had a 6-pitch 6th inning. Might keep himself around for a while. Adam Dunn's been on base 19 of 21 games this year. That's over but low. 3-1. This will be interesting in a 1-run game as to what a young pitcher will give him to work with.
It's got to get kind of boring after a while. Nobody ever throws him a strike. You know, he probably wants to play too.
There's a strike, and that ball is foul on a broken bat down the right field line.
We're breaking a lot of bats lately. Should I say the pitchers on the other team are breaking.
Looks like he just exchanged ash for maple.
Pick me out a winner, Bobby. From the natural.
Yeah, the only better one than that was when the bat boy told Crash Davis to hit a home run. And he said, "Shut up." 3-2 to Adam. And he can't catch up.
All right, your favorite baseball movie?
Field of Dreams.
Really? With Kevin Costner?
Yeah.
Build it, they will come. This is the last pitch right here by Mitch Boggs. He has been mowing us down.
My nomination for most authentic baseball movie, 8 Men Out.
Oh, that was great.
I mean, the authenticity was fantastic.
All right, my favorite sports movie, though, was North Dallas 40. That was the closest to actual locker room stuff that I've ever seen. Nick Nolte and Mac Davis. Bo Svensson, the speed. John Matusak was in that movie.
That's a good pitching pattern. Breaking ball away. Fastball running in on the hand of Dukes. And now he has Elijah 0-2. Dukes has struck out, grounded out tonight, and been picked off first after a fielder's choice.
Well, he's got all his pitches working tonight.
Yeah.
That's a hard sinker he's throwing to, that 91 sinker in on your hands.
Good looking kid here. Breaking ball. Dukes waited for it and then spoiled it. Mitchell Boggs, 8 games, 6 starts for St. Louis last year when he went 3-2 with a 7.41 ERA. 34 innings. He was rather hittable. 42 hits. But he made 21 starts at AAA last year and won 9 games.
88 pitches, 53 for strikes.
This is a typical St. Louis game lately. They've been getting good starting pitching. Their batting average has been going down a bit. Had to. Nobody hits 300 that long as a team. Big curveball, and Dukes couldn't get it. 9 strikeouts of the 17 men he's retired. The Kearns family album opens up again. Oh, now there's a good looking little guy from Kentucky. Garden side T-ball. I bet he got to circle the bases many times. He has the love of the great outdoors. He didn't see any fastballs like that in T-ball. He's 0 for 1 with a walk tonight.
You don't get fastballs in T-ball.
I know.
The ball's on the tee. I had to call you on that one.
I'm just checking to see if you're paying attention, and he's on base for the second
no
time
hit by pitches either.
Tonight.
He probably wish he would play T-ball.
I don't know. I think I've seen kids swing and miss but hit the ball with their arms in T-ball. You're liable to see anything. My favorite moment.
This pitch goes a little too far in. Ow. Nah, that won't require ice. Exmo gets the ouch. That was a little too close for comfort. What were you going to say?
My daughter played T-ball one time when she was about 5 years old, and as she got to every base, she cleaned it up, picked it up, cleaned it off, and put it back down. We knew we had a tidy child on our hands. So here's Jesus Flores. He's 1 for 2.
I coached Little League, some 8- and 9-year-olds, and when they started like watching the butterflies float around and stuff in the middle of the game, I was like, wow.
Coach Dibble.
Coaching's not that easy. Well, boys have such a short attention span, so it's tough to keep them focused all the time. And
you're right.
You know, we had a limit. You can only like go through 10 guys in the order, and if you didn't get any outs or you only had 2 outs, you had to switch sides, or else you'd be there all day. But some of our guys could walk 10 straight.
Jesus Flores hits one to center. This ball's going a long way, and it is up against the wall. It stays in play. Kearns will score, and Jesus Flores has a triple.
Speedy Flores. Well, 1 too many fastballs away, and Jesus Flores catches up to one of them. Wham! And Rick Ankiel, who made an amazing play the other day, cannot catch up to that ball. And it's a 3-bagger.
That is Jesus Flores' first triple of the year and the second of his major league career. So the game is tied. He's the lead run at third with 2 outs for Anderson Hernandez. That's a breaking ball that gets away.
2-out pass ball would be nice right here for the lead.
How about the Nats taking advantage of a 2-out hit batter?
Yeah.
Just when it appeared that Mitchell Boggs might become unhittable.
Do you have some baby pictures of Jesus? Maybe we get another lucky break.
Well, that would be his mugshot in the media guide. He's just a baby. That's a fair ball by Anderson Hernandez. Flores will score. Hernandez digs for second, and the Nationals take the lead 4-3. Anderson Hernandez now has 4 hits and 3 RBIs in his last 2 games.
This is a great job right here. Breaking ball down and in. Left-hander takes it down the line with him. Saw Schumacher do that to our guy. And Anderson Hernandez gets the double, and there you go, putting the super double whammy on the Cardinals.
Dave Duncan to the mound to talk with Mitchell Boggs.
Mitch, you're letting them hit like Wade Boggs.
And Dave Duncan is one of the pitching coaches that you will see probably make the fewest trips to the mound during the course of a ball game as anybody. They call him the Deacon because of his demeanor. Totally serious all the time. But now the Nats could make it a really big inning. That's Blaine Boyer, who the Cardinals got while we were in Atlanta from the Braves. They were having some serious bullpen issues at that time, closing ball games. Ryan Franklin has come up big for St. Louis. He has 7 saves now. But they've had a lot of late game losses early in the year. Willie Harris on a nasty breaking ball.
I don't know if those are the best initials for a pitcher, though. BB for walks for Blaine Boyer. See, my middle initial's K, so that's why I was a K guy.
That's good.
Robert K. Dibble.
Yeah.
But,
as opposed to Robert C. Dibble contact.
Yeah, that wouldn't have been good. Or Robert Horatio Dibble.
Or D for Dinger. Dinger Dibble, that wouldn't work. Ball gets away, but staying. At second base is Hernandez.
So far, so good with the blue jerseys. Don't want to jinx it, though. 9 outs to go.
Nationals hitting for Cabrera here, who could now get the win. 3 runs in 6 innings on 4 hits. 1-1 to Willie Harris. He'll pull it right side. Albert Pujols grabs it. And that'll do it, but the Nats come up big in the bottom of the 6th inning, and it all started with a 2-out hit batter. Flores a triple, Hernandez a double. Thursday evening at the ballpark. The Nats are back home after a 2-4 trip to New York and Philadelphia, and now leading the Cardinals 4-3 into the 7th inning. And for the Nats, Mike Hinckley will make his 13th appearance. 9 innings, but very puzzling 9 walks. That's the only thing that's kept Mike from being really effective like he was when he came up last year for the first 14 appearances of his big league career in the last month or so.
I think he's getting more comfortable, though, in his role. With Joe Beimel out, he's been used in a lot tougher situations than he's probably used to. He's got a great breaking ball.
Facing the left-hander Schumacher, 1 pitch, 1 hop, 1 toss, 1 out. We have an update from Debbie Taylor on the very important Joe Beimel in the bullpen.
I talked to Joe today, and he is actually going to Potomac tomorrow to pitch, and then he will pitch again on Sunday. And Manny Acta hopes to have him available next week when the team heads out west.
There's Joe.
Well, and Manny said something interesting on the heels of that. He said that Joe Beimel may not automatically be the 8th inning guy. He might pitch in the 9th inning. Let's say if you're playing the Phillies and Utley and Howard.
And here's the play he got hurt on. You see him jam that left hip. Watch this. An amazing athletic maneuver. Except that he hurt his left hip flexor. Look at the Exmo here. Amazing, gentlemen.
Cardinals are going to dip into their bench for their second best power hitter now. And that's Ryan Ludwig, who had a monster season last year. Made the All-Star team. Loved hitting in the lineup around Albert Pujols. He had .299 with 37 homers, and he was 6th in the league with 113 RBIs last year. He also had 40 doubles, 80 extra base hits, 3rd in the league.
Well, he's showing it's no fluke. He's already got 5 home runs and 19 driven in. We're not even through April yet. Well, it's the last day of April. But
you know, and 2 ball clubs gave up on him, Texas and Cleveland.
Didn't he have some injuries, though?
A few, yeah.
He had a few.
And Detroit signed him as a minor league free agent. The Cardinals got him as a minor league free agent in December of '07.
They like St. Louis. That's a good place to play for a lot of guys.
Yeah.
Reggie Sanders, he found a nice home there for a few years.
Ron Gant.
Yep.
It really goes back to the late 60s because Roger Maris told people that the 2 years he had in St. Louis on 2 World Series teams were more fun than all those years in New York hitting homers with Mickey Mantle. Here at Nationals Park in our nation's capital, It's 9 o'clock. Rob's here, Debbie's here, I'm Bob, and we hope you're enjoying a good ball game against St. Louis tonight, 4-3.
She's just showing off. I can't keep score like that.
I need to send her a scorebook.
She's got like the old softball book out.
Yeah. I like it though. She's got it going. Got the runs colored in there. Runs by Schumacher, Rasmussen, Pujols. Our kind of gal. Into the game. And it's 1-2 to Ludwig from Hinckley with Pujols on deck. Ludwig a bit under the weather, as Rob mentioned earlier. The Cardinals have had a virus going through their clubhouse.
You went in there, didn't you?
Yeah,
I knew I should have wore a mask today.
Oh, well, I didn't know it when I went in there. I found out after I went in there.
It's bird flu. And catch you from the Cardinals.
Yeah, that's what I told one of their guys. I said, you all have the avian flu in here?
My wife's flying back from Los Angeles tonight. She was all nervous about the swine flu. Everybody's wearing masks out in L.A.
Oh, I thought that was for the smog.
No, they just want to look like Michael Jackson.
3-2 to Ludwig. Mike Hinckley overthrows. That's a shame. He had him behind. Now you've walked a batter in front of the most dangerous hitter in the league. And Mike Hinckley continues to have a problem with control, and that will get him out of this game. So how about this for Logan Kensing's Nationals debut? A one-run game in the top of the 7th. He'll be facing Albert Pujols, who's 1 for 2 with a 2-run homer and a walk. And you never know when the game's on the line right here in the 7th inning. Welcome, Logan Kensing. Logan Kensing will get the assignment in his Nationals debut. He's 26, 6'1", 192. From San Antonio, a laid-back Texan is how he described himself to Debbie Taylor up in Philly. And he's in a big-time spot right here with Albert Pujols stepping in.
There you see what he did with the Marlins so far this year. Last year, 55 strikeouts in 55 innings.
He's always had a great arm. Oh, he starts him with a snap breaking ball right in there.
You can call it what they call it in there, snapdragon. That's what the pitching coach will call it from time to time, or the Uncle Charlie.
Target away. Didn't exactly hit his spot, but he buried the breaking ball where Pujols couldn't reach it.
Well, he set it up with the first. He threw the one in for a strike, and then that's your out pitch in the dirt. Very nice. Exmo right here. About 2 foot disparity between the bat and the ball right there. Very nice. Now you have 3 pitches to make him go fishing on. Nowhere near this guy's bat. I think he went.
Tim Welke says no.
I almost thought that was a foul tip. Did you hear something up here?
I heard it.
Let's check the Exmo.
Pop into the mitt.
No, he held up. The Exmo is always the answer.
One on, one out, top of the 7th in a 1-run game. Pujols breaks his bat, and the ball will fall in front of Adam Dunn. You've got to play Albert so deep, and he'll get a few of those here and there, strong enough to muscle a base hit. 2 on, 1 out.
Well, this is not a bad sequence of pitches right here. Starts him off with a real slow breaking ball, drops it in there for strike 1. Then there's the strikeout pitch right there for strike 2. Then he goes up high. And now he's going to come in here and just crush his bat with 94 miles an hour. He knew he got lucky right there. But Logan Kensing, he could just do that every night, every other night.
You know what?
Great pickup.
You got to have a few of those to hit 357 like he did last year. Didn't even win the batting title. Chipper Jones did at 364. So here's Duncan. He's walked and singled tonight. He is a fly ball hitter who has not bounced into a double play this year, despite not being fleet of foot. Joel Hanrahan warming up in a hurry here in the 7th inning. And we're seeing the emergence now of the different roles that are starting to become obvious in the Nats bullpen. Although Manny has said, hey, what one guy's role is one night doesn't mean that's his role the next night.
Last year, left-handers hit just over 200 against Kensing, 208.
Duncan's hit 2 home runs, driven in 14. Back to a breaking ball.
Well, and this is the thing, too, that Jesus has not caught Logan that much, maybe not at all. And he throws 4 different pitches. He's even got a splitter and a changeup, which is maybe a little much for a reliever to have 4 or 5 pitches. But he's got great velocity, and you can already see he's got great break on that slider. Just locate it, and away he can go.
Three and 0.
Here's Logan with his delivery. See the balance point. Kind of short arms it. He doesn't wrap that arm around when he comes through. Reminds me of a Ken Hill.
4-pitch walk, bases loaded. Rick Ankiel, dangerous left-handed batter coming up, and of course with Hinckley used, the Nationals do not have another left-hander. Ankiel is fly deep to center, singled off the pitcher and walked. Ball game hanging in the balance right here in the top of the 7th.
I'm going to try to work ahead right here. Try to get something over. Maybe a slow breaking ball. Get your stuff together.
Now he's not getting any borderline calls from Jim Reynolds. That one was elevated. Here comes Randy St. Clair.
It's a little bit up in the zone, but they don't go from the knees to the lettering anymore. A little bit out of our pitch tracks box.
Yeah.
It used to be a good pitch.
If baseball wanted pitchers to succeed, that would be a strike.
I had somebody argue with me today about that, my conspiracy theory. But when Bobby Cox says that his pitchers never used to throw 100 pitches in 5 innings and it's becoming commonplace, I have to go with Bobby Cox on that.
And Keel almost committed. Now the Nats have a big time problem. Dangerous hitter, 2-0, bases loaded, still only 1 out. And Keel lines one to right center. Kearns after it. He will get there. The run will score to tie the game. His strong throw will keep Albert Pujols at second base. So the Nats get a big out on a good running catch by Austin Kearns. Game tied at 4.
Nice job by Austin Kearns running that ball down. This is not an easy play right here. Your pitcher's throwing a lot of balls, and then all of a sudden this guy hits a rocket into the gap. And Austin Kearns tracks it down. Run will come in to tie the score. Keep it right there, and not that bad of an outing for Logan Kensing.
Joe Thurston now with 2 outs. That'll take a possible win away from Daniel Cabrera. That run charged to Mike Hinckley after he walked Ludwig. And the pitcher of record is now Kensing. Thurston 0 for 3 with a couple of grounders and a fly ball. And another fly ball down right field way for Austin Kearns. So Logan Kensing struggles a bit with the base hit by Pujols and the Duncan walk, although it was not a bad pitch to Pujols. The Cardinals tied the game.
somebody say something?
Johnny and Ray here at the ballpark with us as we go to the bottom of the seventh, the 4-4 game. Cardinals have tied the game up here, but for the most part, a well-played game so far. Teams are kind of trading some jabs here.
Yeah, and for us, I mean, we got in at 3:30 in the morning off a long bus ride. Daniel Cabrera basically started out really rough, toned it down a little bit, had a great 6-inning performance, and now it's up to the bullpen to get the final few outs of the ball game. Now, they weren't able to hold the lead, but they didn't lose the lead. It's a tie ball game, new ball game again. Now it's time to get a few more runs and win the ball game.
Home runs a big factor in the early stages of this one, as Albert Pujols would come up big. And the damaging thing was Cabrera had walked the man in front of him.
Yeah, you know, whenever you put some guys out there on the pound, and then a guy like Albert Pujols is coming up, and you're still fiddling to try to get your command, and you feed him a fastball, that's when Albert Pujols is the most deadliest. He's like a cobra. He's going to strike you when you least expect it. So you got to make sure you can just have nobody on base. If you do make a mistake, it's a single home run. The more people you put on, the more danger you're in.
And of course, Nick Johnson, the base hit. Zimmerman, the 2-run answer in the bottom of the first inning. So the teams have been trading punches ever since. Nats have the advantage here with 3 more at bats. Let's see how it goes. And Ryan Ludwig will take over in right field after appearing as a pinch hitter.
Well, he looks like he's sweating a little bit. Maybe he's got that flu fever going. Maybe it's going to break while he's in the field. But it's up to our offense now to get a few more runs. I think that's not a bad job either of Daniel Cabrera holding down one of the best offensive teams in baseball, even struggling with his command early, but able to come back and get things going for a little bit. And he left in good shape and gave this team an opportunity to win. That's all we can count on every 5 days from him.
Here's why we're having a delay. That ball missed by Jason LaRue hit the home plate umpire Jim Reynolds right on the top of his head. Angel Hernandez chatting with him. The Welke brothers are there. Looks like Jim Reynolds going to be okay. That was a breaking ball that he threw as a warm-up toss.
Well, he's one of the few umpires that doesn't wear a helmet. A lot of the umpires are now going to the hockey helmet, the full face mask, and it's got the fiberglass all the way around. And just watch this right here. He's just got basically a fabric hat on, and he catches it right off the top of the head. That's going to hurt. Maybe even a concussion, but looks like he's going to stay in the game.
Well, there was a time in this game when even the catchers didn't wear helmets. They just had the cloth baseball caps on under their masks. Blaine Boyer picked up by St. Louis from Atlanta for Brian Barton. There's Kip Wells, who had a long but scoreless 8th inning last night in Philly.
It was effective. Long but effective. I was talking to Major League Baseball umpiring supervisor Jim McKean. He goes all the way back to when they used to put the little plastic inserts in his hat. Of course, he had to bring it to my attention that was before my time. Back in my day.
Kristen Guzman is a rare 0 for 3 tonight. That's a breaking ball by Boyer. Nats are familiar with him. He made his St. Louis debut Saturday against the Cubs. 76 appearances last year for the Braves. 14 holds, 67 Ks in 72 innings. He has Guzman 0-2. Christian hacking that ball right off of his foot.
Christian Guzman's a pretty quiet guy, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
Very few words.
Left-handed reliever Trevor Miller. One of their 2 lefties, Dennis Reyes the other.
Is he about 58 now? God, those lefties can just hang out. They used to have a guy in St. Louis. I know you were probably announcing there.
Tony Faucett.
That guy was ancient.
Tony
Older than,
Costas.
I think he was older than my father. Like 57, 58 when he retired.
Guzman takes a breaking ball, keeps alive.
I think they gave him a double pension. I don't know. Nick Johnson's pine tar is a little up that bat.
Yeah, they don't care
Kind of
about
like
that
George
anymore.
Brett.
Guzman, defensive swing on 0-2. Schumacher throws it in the dirt, and a pick by Albert Pujols makes it an out instead of a throwing error. Let's check in with Debbie.
Are you looking for the best value in Northern Virginia? Well, as part of Uncle Slam's stimulus package, the Potomac Nationals, who are in third place, invite you to join the party as Saturday fireworks are back at Fitzner Stadium for the 2009 season. And be sure to come see the future stars of your Washington Nationals and catch the area's best fireworks show after the game. The next fireworks extravaganza, May 2nd. Tickets just start at $8. For more info, go to PotomacNationals.com.
Yeah, it'll be easy for Pujols off the bat of Nick Johnson. 2 quick outs.
An extravaganza.
Some other ball games tonight. They are in the 6th inning. At Chicago, the Cubs on Milton Bradley and Mike Fontenot homers lead the Marlins 2-0. Pretty good pitching matchup there tonight between Chris Volstad, who's back after missing a start and being out for just a couple of days, and Sean Marshall for the Cubs.
Cubs have had all kinds of problems so far this season. Derek Lee's not hitting. Fontenot's not hitting.
That team costs way too much to be 10-10.
Yes.
But a long way to go.
Well, 142 more games, 141 after tonight.
You'd love to see Zimmerman aboard here in the 7th. Ryan flirted with another opposite field homer last time up, ending the 5th inning with 2 men on base, caught right up against the wall by Colby Rasmus. Bottom 7, game tied at 4. Bases empty, 2 outs. Zimmerman 1 for 3 with a 2-run shot. Pulls off that breaking ball. And it's pretty obvious what the St. Louis scouting report is on Ryan Zimmerman.
He threw a fastball for strike 1. He got behind, then he lays that 75-mile-an-hour breaking ball in there. Tough to lay off that pitch.
Well, he started the night hitting .291. When it's 2-2, right there, .287.
He almost got that Mitch Boggs fastball to leave the park his last time.
Oh, that's a good call if you're the pitcher. Started that thing outside, came back near the corner. Zimmerman gone, and the Nats go 1-2-3 in the 7th. Tie game into the 8th. in 19 games. Jesus Flores has had a good night, 2 for 3 with his 11th RBI. Daniel Cabrera was in line for a win when he departed, but the bullpen gave up a run in the 7th, and that's why we're tied. And the St. Louis addendum to that would be the 2-run Pujols homer. Kip Wells started 26 games for the Cardinals in 07, appeared in 34 overall. He was one of the losingest pitchers in the league at 7-17. Had a long inning last night in Philadelphia, threw a lot of pitches, but he's right back at it. And his ERA as a Nat in 5 games is 1.69. One thing these guys know when they come to Washington, they will be busy. High fastball and a little two-hopper out to Anderson Hernandez. Jason LaRue is 0 for 3 with a walk. The Nationals pitchers, Cabrera and company, haven't given up a hit beyond the number 5 spot in the St. Louis order tonight. So the number 8 man, rookie Tyler Green, steps in. Regular shortstop Khalil Green, 0 for his last 7. And on the bench tonight, this guy just called up today when they DL'd infielder Brendan Ryan with a left hamstring pull. Kip Wells, 31 years of age. Actually, we need to add one to that. Just had a birthday about a week and a half ago.
Trevor or Mike Perez?
Both.
How old is Trevor Miller?
Trevor Miller is 35.
He looks much younger than
Ryan
45.
Franklin, their closer's 36. Dennis Reyes is 32. Kip totally overthrows that one, ball 3. As I think back on the last sequence of years for St. Louis, they haven't had what you would call young kids a whole lot in the bullpen. Tony La Russa likes veteran, reliable guys out there who know how to get outs and have been there, done that. Ball ripped to short. Guzman has it on a hop to his left. Throws to Nick Johnson, 2 outs. Tonight's copyrighted telecast, presented by authority of the Washington Nationals, may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the expressed written consent of the Washington Nationals. And we'll see Khalil Green now, the St. Louis regular shortstop. And Rob, I know you expressed some interest early in the season when Tony La Russa had this guy batting cleanup behind Albert Pujols. In his days with San Diego, he was never in that sort of position in the lineup. He's a .248 career hitter, not a power guy. And off to a slow start as a Cardinal. He's hitting for Blaine Boyer, who had a really good inning.
Well, I was going to say he's always had that long swing. Kind of reminds me a lot of Brett Boone. And, you know, for this guy, should probably be more of a contact type hitter. Yet he continues to swing like that. And then you put him in the 4-hole. And I think it just, you know.
Kip Wells trying to paint on 0-2.
Might keep him thinking that people want him to try to hit 20-25 home runs a year. This last pitch just misses.
He hit 27 homers for the Padres 2 years ago, 17 fewer the following year. And by the way, 62 fewer RBIs. Did have a lot of injury problems last year with a finger on his left hand that was fractured. One of the greatest college hitters ever out of Clemson. Second all-time on the NCAA hit list to Wichita's Phil Stevenson. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Wells looking for a 1-2 3/8. Close, but ball 3. If the inning continues, back to the top of the order, Skip Schumacher.
What's he looking for?
He's looking to see how high we are.
He needs to look up a little higher.
Here we are, Skip. Wells throws a strike, and it's lined foul. Khalil Green did not play after July 31st last year because of that fractured finger. 3 balls and 2 strikes. And Wells hits him.
No, this is not what you want to do right here. You want to get the right-hander. You got a left-hander on deck, and he hits Khalil Green, who was 0 for his last 7.
St. Louis has walked 4, hit 2 tonight. Pardon me, walked 2, hit 2, and Washington has walked 7 and hit a batter. Schumacher takes one over but low against his ex-teammate Kip Wells. 1 for 4 with a double. He scored in the 5th to give St. Louis a 3-2 lead on a sac fly by Colby Rasmus.
Well, don't throw him that breaking ball down and in. That's the mistake Cabrera made to him.
Well, a lot like last night, Kip is having a hard time closing out the inning. Last evening in Philly, he walked the leadoff man, got lucky on a laser caught off the bat of Ryan Howard. After a ground ball, a walk, and finally he grounded out Matt Stairs. So he's thrown a lot of pitches in these last 2 innings of relief. 2-0, and he gets a high strike call. Another long count. You do not want to face Ryan Ludwig here. He came into the ball game as a pinch hitter in the 7th, walked and scored. And that's a man who can hit the ball a mile. Now the count's full. Skip Schumacher, as I mentioned, had a career year last year, hitting .302 in 153 games. 3-2. Khalil Green running. Another walk. The Nationals have walked 8 Cardinals tonight. And quite frankly, fortunate to be tied at this stage of the game. So you've walked 2 singles hitters and now face a power hitter. Saw Randy say, hey, Flo, and that means Jesus Flores, come out and join me.
Well, last year in 37 innings, 30 walks, 31 strikeouts. Julian Tavares is loosening up right now. 2005 with Pittsburgh, 99 walks in 182 innings. He likes to nibble. He likes to try to hit the corners. But when you're in the relief role, that's not your role. You have to come in, throw strikes, get ahead, get these guys out, and get in the dugout.
Julian Tavares got a save in the ninth last night. He did give up a 2-out hit to Jimmy Rollins. Little inside gas there on Shane Victorino. And his first save in 4 years.
That's what we need, though. We like that emotion. Very passionate. 17 years in the game, and he's still fired up when he finishes a game. What was that movie when Costner throws a perfect game?
For love of the game.
For love of the game. That's Julian Tavares.
I think the only games the Tigers played that year were at Yankee Stadium. Ball gets away. And Kip Wells, after 2 routine outs, is all over the place here.
I think this was a cross-up right here, though. It looked like Jesus Flores was looking for one pitch, and another one went the other way, and it's off his glove.
5 wild pitches.
The Exmo.
And 8 walks by the Nationals tonight. If you think there's danger in the batter's box now, don't even look at the on-deck circle.
That's a great white shark lurking.
Kip Wells missed his spot. Flores wanted that ball inner half. And Ryan Ludwig fouled it away. Counts even 1-1. Ryan Ludwig's brother Eric, a pitcher, once part of a 4-player deal that brought Mark McGwire from Oakland to St. Louis.
Oh boy.
That was a good running fastball in under the hands of Ludwig. And the Nats fans, 18,007.
Last
sitting
pitch,
around
nice
for a long inning.
sinking fastball out of the zone. They want to cut out a pitch. Stick with about 3 pitches for strikes. Kip can throw an assortment of pitches. Ground ball strikeout right here. That's impressive. 10 for 22 with runners in scoring position.
Almost all of his 19 RBIs. 1-2. Had him reaching. Guzman gloves it. Throws to Nick. And the Nats scramble out of another jam. Adam Dunn coming up. Then Elijah Dukes and Austin Kearns. And the ballgame. and in this case tied at 4 as we go bottom 8. Tomorrow night it'll be Friday here at Nationals Park. Todd Wellemeyer goes for the Cardinals. High ERA. He's 1-2. And he has faced the Nationals before. And the young sensation, Jordan Zimmerman, will be looking for his 3rd consecutive win. ERA sitting at 2.38. We'll start you off at 6:30 Nats Extra with Johnny Holiday and Ray Knight. And one of the first players that the St. Louis guys asked me about when they hit the ballpark today is, what is up with this kid Zimmerman?
You better have lied through your teeth. He's
terrible. I told him he's got
balls. Nothing. You guys are going to kill him. You probably spilled the beans. You're like A-Rod. Told them what was coming.
Well, they wanted a scouting report, and I just said, he's right-handed. Bottom of the 8th, here's Adam Dunn. Trevor Miller takes over for the Cardinals. Miller been around a long time. He's 35 years of age. He broke in with the Tigers 13 years ago. Sidewinder, tough to hang in there for a lefty. He's made stops in Houston, Philadelphia, LA, Toronto, Tampa Bay, back to Houston, and then 68 games for the Rays last year after he pitched in 76 for the Astros in 07. That's in there. 1-2 to Adam Dunn.
I wonder if he and Austin are friends. He's from Louisville, Kentucky.
Front door breaking ball to strike out Adam Dunn. You're leaning out over the plate knowing he's going to go away from you, and then he front doors the breaking pitch.
Hard for a lefty to keep that front hip in there, especially when the guy's throwing from the side. Here's the Exmo. This is a nasty, crafty, older lefty. There you see that. Big breaking ball. That's what keeps you in the big leagues. He got his one hitter, and now it's time to use some hot water.
Tony La Russa perfected the art of the closer a long time ago with Eckersley. He loves situational. Situational baseball more than the winningest active manager, Tony La Russa. He's got a right-hander now, big Chris Perez, to take on big, strong Elijah Dukes. This guy goes 6'4", 230. And St. Louis got him a couple of years ago as compensation for the San Francisco Giants free agent signing of Matt Morris. Dukes is 0 for 3 tonight with a pair of strikeouts. 2-0. Elijah came in hot. 5 out of 16 over 4 games. Batting average from 292 down to 279 now. And he was looking dead red on 2-0, but that one well outside. Nowhere near the plate. Lead run aboard here with one out, bottom of the eighth. There were two outs and nobody on when Austin Kearns, Rob, was hitting in the sixth inning.
Well, sometimes this gets you going. You get clipped by a pitch right there. And then Jesus Flores crushes a triple off the wall. Second one of his career. See him motoring in there. Pete Rose would be happy with that slide. And then Anderson Hernandez put us ahead. Nice little double down the line.
St. Louis would tie it with a sac fly in the seventh. Kearns, expecting a first pitch right down the middle, was ripping.
Well, he got the heater. It was just a little bit up. 94.
Austin's hit 3 homers this year, driven in 11. He's been on base twice more tonight. So his on base average is over 400 for a guy hitting 235. You knew that was going to happen. Kearns asking Jim Reynolds for time. And we just hope Elijah Dukes stays under control over there at first base. The Nats cannot afford any pickoff shenanigans at this stage of a tie game. He's running. Kearns will bounce it to third. Thurston, high throw, and Pujols stays on the bag. 2 outs. Runner in scoring position.
Almost cut a break there.
Yeah, he really goosed that ball over there, and it sailed on Joe Thurston. Jesus Flores coming up.
Here's a look at this throw that almost goes awry and almost helps us out right here. Joe Thurston, he's got a little bit of time. Ooh, the Gold Glover at first base, Albert Pujols. This is Chris Perez's delivery right there.
Flores 2 for 3, RBI triple. I can't think of anybody who has more incentive to drive in a run in the bottom of the eighth of a tie game than a catcher who's been working behind the plate all night long.
Taking a beating back there.
He has. He'd love to catch one more inning, and that's it. He was out ahead of that breaking ball, and quickly Perez has him 0-2. Elijah Dukes walked with 1 out, went to second on the grounder by Kearns. Great speed, and then he hit into the outfield, should score him. And Flores strikes out. That's what happens when you get behind 0-2. And Perez comes in to keep the Nats off the board to the 9th in a tie game. over 2.5 hours ago. We go to the top of the ninth. It's a 4-4 game. Pujols, Duncan, and Ankiel for St. Louis. You can create your own Nationals collectible by using your favorite photos at the photo store on Nationals.com. 3 easy steps, your very own Nats memory. Check it out, Nationals.com. Albert Pujols, 2 for 3. Julian Tavares was his teammate in 2004 and 2005. Had him reaching to Hopper, Ryan Zimmerman, and a big first out to start the ninth. More on Julian from Debbie.
Julian Tavares has been such a workhorse for the Nationals, and you may wonder where that work ethic comes from. Well, he told me today that his father used to drive 2 hours in the Dominican Republic to take a construction job, and then his mom worked in a tobacco factory from 6 o'clock in the morning till 7 o'clock at night. And he said now he's, taking care of both his parents so they don't have to work.
And he's got some emotion out there. Make sure you tell Ryan Zimmerman where to throw the ball. That's good.
He's not animated.
Chris Duncan, the hitter. 2 walks, a single. He's 1 for 2. That's a breaking ball that just bends inside at the last moment. Counts even at 1. Florida picked up a run. They're in the bottom of the 7th at Wrigley. Cubs 2, Fish 1. Only other NL East team in action tonight. We told you last night that the Phillies had a day off, and they're getting ready for an invasion of Mets tomorrow night in Pennsylvania. Rick Ankiel next. Tavares and Duncan. 2-2 count, top of the ninth with 1 out. Target away. Appeal. Home plate umpire doesn't have to do that. It's a 3-2 breaking ball that Duncan chops. Walked him with 1 out. The 3rd time Duncan has been walked tonight, and that is the 9th walk issued by the Nationals. You would look at this box score and wonder how the ball game could be 4-4. Well, the Nats have only given the Cardinals 5 hits. Here's Rick Ankiel.
Thank goodness we planted that flu bug on their plane.
The avian flu.
Yeah, half of their team's sick. Guess Kyle Lotion's last start was throwing up before the start.
That ball hit well to left. It's a bit of a run for Adam Dunn. He can't get there. Chris Duncan's coming home. St. Louis takes the lead. At this stage of a ball game, if you were ahead, Adam Dunn would not be in left field. Rick Ankiel placed it perfectly right down the line. Oh, those walks. Rob, they're eventually going to get you when you walk people.
Yeah, walks will haunt you, and this will haunt Julian tonight after the game if we don't win. Adam Dunn can't come up with that. Playing him to pull. Chris Duncan comes running all the way around from first.
Runner at second, 1 out. Joe Thurston, the hitter. St. Louis leads 5-4. This is one of the best offenses in the league, and the Nats have held them to 6 hits tonight. But 3 batters who have walked have scored. Thurston is 0 for 4. Nationals have now walked 94 batters this year, which is by a pretty good margin the most in the National League. That's an average of more than 4.5 walks per game. As we arrive at the 10 o'clock hour now, St. Louis has the lead in this long ball game. 5-4 Cardinals. Thurston able to stop his bat, 2-0. One pitch away from the 10th walk of the night. The guy 0 for 4, career minor leaguer, has the green light on 3-0. But Joe Thurston came into this game hitting 300.
And 444 with runners in scoring position. Well, probably going to face Ryan Franklin, their closer. He is not allowed to run this year in 10 games that he's appeared in. So hopefully we can break that string.
Hopefully the Nats will be down by just one. They've got 8, 9, and 1 due up. He, of course, a right-hander. The Nats only have one left-handed bat remaining, Alex Cintron, for that number 9 hole. Julian Tavares slowing this game to a crawl here. 1 out in the top of the 9th. Ryan Franklin getting ready. That's off the batter's foot.
Look at that beard, Bob. He wouldn't be allowed on the Reds because we had a no facial hair policy. What would you call that? The Abe Lincoln?
Three-2 with the runner at second. Another walk. Thurston 0 for 4, couldn't wait to get to first. Jason LaRue, the hitter.
A career minor leaguer that's happy to be in the big leagues. Check this hustle out from Joe Thurston. Would you say he spent 9 years in the minor leagues?
Yeah.
And check it out. He runs all the way down to first base.
Jason LaRue has walked and gone 0 for 3 on ground balls. Nats would love one right at somebody here. Turn a double play. Get this game into the bottom of the 9th. A very tardy swing by LaRue. Strike 1. Duncan walked. He has scored. Ankiel drove him in with a double. He's at second base, and then Thurston walked here in the 9th. Tyler Green, the shortstop, waiting. And Tavares at Anchio going back to second base.
Here's the look at second base. To home plate throw. LaRue staying alive.
No balls, 2 strikes. And Tavares hits him with a fastball. Bases loaded, 1 out.
Has him 0-2 and drills him.
Big spot for the rookie Tyler Green.
Exmo here with the drillage. Oof. Right in the numbers.
Right in the ribs.
It's going to leave a mark.
St. Louis trainer Barry Weinberg.
LaRue's fine. He's a tough kid. He's going, come on, what? Hit me in the chest. I'm a catcher.
You want to hear it?
Yeah.
Didn't even knock him down. Off he goes.
Oh, that had all flesh. Look at him, like, and they're going, don't rub it. Don't rub it. And you know it hurts, but they're like, don't rub it.
Well, his coach over there was a catcher. Now Tavares has to really pitch to keep this a 1-run game. Tyler Green 0 for 4. LaRusse has been known to bunt in situations like this. He's got a number 8 hitter up there who's in his first major league game. Hard sinker.
Young man really swinging the bat. See him choked up. Swing hard, you might hit it.
And a chopper down third. Zimmerman do-or-die play, base hit. Here comes another runner. He's going to be safe as Flores drops the ball. And the Cardinals score 2 runs on a ball that went about 60 feet.
It's a good pitch. Grounded into the dirt. Ryan Zimmerman trying to make a great play right there. Down a run. Now we're down 2.
Guzman made a great play.
Yep. Watch Christian Guzman right here. Back him up. But this ball looks like it changes direction a little bit. Christian Guzman had his back, and Jesus cannot hold on to it.
They're going to give Flores an error after dropping that ball. Nightmare 9th for Tavares. game. They lead at 7-4. 3 runs here in the 9th. They have 1 clean hit. And now Brian Barden will pinch hit in the number 9 hole against Joel Hanrahan. And because of his recent struggles, this is what it's come to for him. Previously pitching in the 9th, and he just balked home a run. This is unbelievable. 8-4. Now St. Louis scores a run before a pitch even happens. Other runner, Tyler Green, goes to second base. That was his first major league hit, by the way.
Here's the ball coming up, Bob. Looking for a sign. You saw him move first.
Throw to third, safe. Tyler Green was a base stealer in the minor leagues. He's at third base with 1 out. La Russa going for the jugular here.
Here's the balk again. You cannot make a move like you're going to come set once you're in that rubber, and that's what he did when he moved his head. He made that first movement. You have to continue up and grab your glove with the ball. And he tried to step off and hide it. It's too late.
Out to right field. That'll back up Austin Kearns. Even with his arm, no chance from out there. And it's a 5-run 9th for St. Louis. That's Extra. Post-game show presented to you by Verizon Fios. Coming up next with Ray Knight, Johnny Holiday out there in left center field. How to pitch and how not to pitch. We saw both tonight against Albert Pujols. Ray breaks down the ups and downs of Daniel Cabrera. 5 walks, 4 wild pitches in his 6 innings. And more coming up from the post-game show.
I just honestly think that this is not the place for an experiment. If you want to try to work it out. I mean, even the Yankees send some of their guys like Kiyagawa. They send him down to a guy named Billy Connors down in Tampa. It's hard to get yourself together at the major league level. Hitters and your opponents have no mercy. Like Pujols tonight. The 1 strike he saw on that 1 at bat, he put it over the fence.
And a bouncer up the middle. Guzman gets it, stumbles, and sliding in for a base hit, Schumacher.
It's a valiant effort right here by Christian Guzman. A very long inning. He's been all over the field. And Skip Schumacher's got too much speed right there as he digs it down the line for an infield hit.
All 5 runs charged to Julian Tavares. Three of them should be earned. And he stands as the loser tonight. Unless the Nationals have a miracle finish in store for us in the bottom of the 9th. Ryan Ludwig is the 9th Cardinal to bat here in the 9th. Ludwig will reach out and hit one to left. Adam Dunn is there. 9 Cardinals back. 5 of them score, and they lead 9-4 into the bottom of the ninth.
Ball game, the Nationals had a lead of 4-3, Ray. After 6, now they got to get some real work going here in the 9th inning.
Man, we've seen some crazy games.
I know
this year.
Well, we'll try to break this one
weird
down.
Games. We're going to try to break this thing down, but you just wait till we come up with these stats, and we're going to throw at you a little bit later. Just about everything that could happen in a game happened tonight.
All right, let's go back upstairs to Bob and Rob and see if the Nats can rally and pull this thing out somehow.
Thank you, gentlemen. It'll take an amazing bottom of the ninth. P.J. Walters will come out and try to close this thing out for the Cardinals.
Yeah, we didn't even warrant an appearance from Ryan Franklin, of all people.
Yeah, it became an on-save situation in a hurry. New third baseman is Brian Barden, replacing Joe Thurston. I know that Skip Schumacher has moved to left field. That's because Joe Thurston is over at second. Schumacher, after going jersey first, into first base for that base hit. Pretty interesting when your starting second baseman ends up the game in left field. The acquisitions of Adam Kennedy and Aaron Miles didn't work out the way the Cardinals thought they might. So they've got some other guys who can move around. We're looking forward to Jordan Zimmerman against St. Louis tomorrow night. That'll be an interesting matchup between a rookie pitcher who is hot and one of the best offensive clubs in the league. Well, that's got to irritate a manager over on the third base side. Alex Cintron, who is not exactly a popular man in St. Louis because of something that happened in the playoffs years ago when the Cardinals played the Arizona Diamondbacks. He had a collision on an interference play with Scott Rowland that knocked him out for the playoffs that year on a base running play between second and third. He's still hunting his first Nationals hit. As a pinch hitter, he's 0 for 7. Overall, he's 0 for 11. And P.J. Walters having a hard time finding the plate. P.J. Walters, a former 11th round draft choice 3 years ago, rookie pitcher. Big kid at 6'4", 200 out of Dothan, Alabama. Cintron, little pop-up out behind short. Tyler Green, one out. Marlins have tied their game at Chicago. They're in the bottom of the 8th at Wrigley Field. 2-2 that one now. Jorge Cantu has hit his 7th homer of the year. That's at least his 3rd night in a row with a home run. One on, one out here in Washington, bottom of the 9th. Ballpark extremely quiet after that horrible top of the 9th. And Dave Duncan out to visit his rookie pitcher.
I thought you said Dave Duncan never goes out there.
He saw something he didn't like. That's a catcher who's become one of the best pitching coaches in this game.
Yeah, he's got to be one of the top 3 most respected pitching coaches in this game right now.
Guzman 0 for 4 tonight. This would be his first 0 for of the season in 9 games. Unless he gets one here to keep this thing going. And then you've got Johnson and Zimmerman coming. And he's taking all the way on 2-0. That's a professional hitter who understands the situation.
Well, he understands his run means nothing right here. We need 5 just to tie. Any way you can get on right here. Try to at least get the tying run to the plate.
That's a changeup. 3-1.
Yeah, he's having a command issue right here. When's the last time he was in a game, actually?
We can check on that. Dennis Reyes is warmed and ready because the Nats have a left-handed batter next in Nick Johnson. Guzman will slap it out to right field, and Ludwig cruises back to grab it. 2 outs. And Walters might have just kept himself in the game. Nick Johnson, another night at the office. 2 for 4. So the batting average sitting at a healthy 342. And he'll roll over that ground ball out to second for Thurston. And this one is mercifully over. 3 hours and 18 minutes. And a really, really rough top of the 9th, Rob, decided this issue.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough one day coming in a safe situation for Julian Tavares. Kip Wells got in